and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel. This is my reaction to Ollie's press conference this afternoon, along with my team prediction for this weekend, the massive game for Ollie really at Goodison Park. My team prediction, I'm also going to predict a result based on the team prediction. I don't like, anybody who's followed me much on the United stand will know that I don't like giving predictions. It's such a difficult thing, getting the results of football games right. That's why the bookies make so much money, because it's almost impossible to get it right. So I don't like making predictions, but based on the team prediction I will give a prediction for the game later. But I'm going to come to that at the end. First of all, the press conference. It was a pretty drab press conference, not much in it of interest for me at all, really. No important thing, no fresh injuries were mentioned, so I think he's going to have the same squad that he had on was it Wednesday night when we played in Turkey. Yeah, he's going to. In fact, he did mention that he mentioned it in as much that he said it's a 12:30 game on Saturday, and I'm going to speak about that later. So I think he's going to complain that obviously that we played Wednesday night and then we've got the early lunchtime game on the Saturday. I'm not sure how much of an excuse that is if it doesn't go well for us, but maybe he's getting his excuses in before it goes wrong. I don't know. Obviously, Marshall's been suspended in the Premier League. Marshall's back in the squad, so I think it's going to be pretty much the same squad that we had that went to Turkey. He also went on to say that it's not the same without fans. You know, I've heard him say this numerous times now. It's the same for all clubs, innit? There's no fans in the stadium. Maybe it goes against you when you're at home and you've not got your fans behind you. But surely if that's the case, that spins round when you play away from home and the opposition team haven't got their fans with us. I mean, we played in Turkey the other night. We got beat anyway. But Turkey is a really difficult place to go. The atmosphere that the Turkish fans tend to drum up is unbelievable over there. So, you know, we were lucky really that we weren't playing in a stadium with fans the other day. So I've heard it often. He's said it a few times now, and I've heard it enough. A little bit like a broken record. It's sounding a bit like me, the way I bang on about how good Nemanja Matic and Juan Mata are, and they should be playing more often. So he needs to stop saying that. It isn't the same without fans, but nearly every time I see him now, he talks about it not being the same without fans. He's worried about the players, both physically and mentally, he said. He mentions the virus. He said the strain that the players are under is immense. How they cope with it, he doesn't know how they cope with it because of the strain that they're under. All these little things that are mentioned in there, they all seem like excuses for how United are doing. I mean, I don't know why he should really be suggesting that it's more so on our players. You know, why should we be struggling? Because, you know, if we're a better team than another team, shouldn't their players be struggling physically and mentally as well, and then be either further behind us, and then the ones who are above us, like Liverpool and City, you know, maybe they shouldn't be doing as well as they're doing because their players are struggling mentally and physically. So I really don't get the point. I mean, are their players not just better than our players, but are they also stronger mentally? I mean, if you look at Liverpool are already on top, a couple of points clear. Won't surprise me one little bit if they're top from now till the end of the season. It would not shock me now. They're already in the position that you would expect them to be in. You know, the top of the league now, where you would expect them to be, going off the last couple of seasons. And then look at City. City are 5 points behind Liverpool, but they've got a game in hand, like us. They, you know, because of the Champions League and our Europa League commitments, we ended up not kicking off the season at the same time as everybody else. So the game in hand that City have got is Aston Villa at home. I think you would expect them to win that. Obviously, they might not. That's football. But you would expect City to win that. If City were to win that game in hand, Liverpool would be top and City would be 2 points behind them. Exactly where you would expect them to be. So okay, I'm not suggesting that we should be competing with City and Liverpool the way they've been the last few years. But, you know, if we're hoping to be in the top four, I would have thought that at this moment in time we'd be 5th, 6th, 7th at the worst, you know what I mean? So we're not where we're supposed to be. City and Liverpool are already where you expect them to be. So what's the difference for them compared to our players? So moving on from that, Andy Mitten asked a question. I've known Andy a long time. I've met him all over Europe. following United. Had a few drinks with him in different countries here and there. I've known him many, many years, Andy, mate, and he's a great lad. And his question to Ollie was along the lines of he can't understand the inconsistency. How can it be that we can do so well one week and not so well the next? Ollie, in his answer, said that they are searching for consistency. The way I look at it is, if they're searching for consistency, he's got a funny way of going about it. He mentioned another thing that he mentioned, Ollie, was such as, he didn't use this phrase, but he touched on the fine dividing line between success and failure. And he said that the 2 games against Arsenal and Chelsea were tight games and not, not as bad as some people are making out. A lot of people, okay, we got 1 point from Chelsea, we got beat 1-0 by Arsenal. I understand where he's coming from. They were both tight games. It's not like either of them battered us. We were getting murdered earlier in the season by the likes of Spurs and even Crystal Palace. So no, those 2 games weren't as horrendous. I agree with him on that, as what people are saying. But when he says he's searching for consistency, if he's saying himself, which he did say this, that the Chelsea game and the Arsenal game wasn't so bad, that means that he was okay with the performance against Chelsea. He obviously didn't think it was a bad performance. I would agree with him. Now, that performance in that league game against Chelsea was immediately after. All right, we played a midweek game in the Champions League, but in the Premier League, our previous Premier League game was Newcastle away. We won 4-1 at Newcastle. Then we drew 0-0 with Chelsea. When we drew 0-0 with Chelsea, it was the exact same lineup that had previously beaten Newcastle 4-1. So if Ollie is saying that he was okay with that game against Chelsea, and at least we did get a point, by the way, we got beat the following week by Arsenal. At least we did get a point. And if Ollie was saying he was okay with that, and that was on the back of a 4-1 win against Newcastle, why change the team for the next game against Arsenal? He changed the formation, which was a shocking thing to do. He went with the diamond instead of, he played 4-4-2 against Newcastle. He played 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1. I always say it's the same thing. You've got a number 10 and a number 9, or you've got 2 forwards. So we played 4-4-2 at Newcastle. We played 4-4-2 at Chelsea. Then against Arsenal, the 2 players who were giving us natural width. I know Juan Mata's not natural width. He's not a natural wide player, but as I always say, he's an intelligent player. He fills the position on the field adequately. Okay, he's not Cristiano Ronaldo, but he does the job adequately. And on the left, it was Dan James. Both of those players started at Newcastle. Both of those players started against Chelsea. The manager himself said he was okay with the game against Chelsea. He thought it was fine. We won the previous game 4-1. Why change it? He says he's searching for consistency. That's not searching for consistency in my book. It really isn't. He's changed the formation. He's gone with a diamond, and he's brought Pogba in as a more of a central midfield player. We're obviously tasked with covering the left-hand side of the field, which was Dan James's territory in the previous 2 games, and he's also brought Mason Greenwood into the team, and Mason Greenwood's played. He's got a track back, of course he has, but he's mainly a striker. So we're back to the situation against Arsenal where we've got 2 strikers in the lineup plus a number 10. Bruno's playing as a number 10, and we've got Greenwood and we've got Rashford. No matter what you think of the players, I will say it until I'm blue in the face. You need players who are happy operating in the positions that they're operating in. So you don't need somebody playing on the left wing, as Pogba did against Arsenal, who's not really happy there and not really comfortable there. And then you've got Mason Greenwood, who's tasked with getting back down at the right, when really he's a striker. You need players who do the jobs enthusiastically and happily. You don't need to consider this player's better than that player or this player's better than this player. All you need to consider is what formation you're going to play and get the players who suit that formation better. And Mason Greenwood does not suit that formation better unless he's the number 9, which obviously he's not going to get Anthony Martial's place. Paul Pogba does not suit that formation better if you're going to put him on the left wing. So he's saying he's searching for consistency. They won 4-1 at Newcastle. He kept the same team against Chelsea and got a draw that he's saying he was happy with, a performance that he was happy with, and then changed the team for the Arsenal game. That's not searching for consistency for me. If that's searching for consistency, then you don't really understand what searching for consistency is. You've got to try and get a steadier team, and you've got to, exactly that word, you've got to get consistency in your team selection before you will get consistency on the field. You need to get your more consistency in your team selection, and don't lose patience. It appears to me that we've beaten Newcastle 4-1, then we've drawn with Chelsea 0-0, and he's lost. It seems to me like he's lost patience with it. You know, why not just go with it again? You never know what we know. We might have got a draw against Arsenal instead of losing to him. So if he wants consistency, great question by Andy, but you know, I can explain to you that's an explanation of why there's no consistency. There's no consistency, Andy, because there's no consistency in the team selection. Just finishing off on the press conference, straight after the press conference, Sammy McIlroy mentioned something that I mentioned in the video, shambles in Istanbul. Sammy McIlroy said that on the first goal, you don't see that in Sunday League football. That's exactly what he said, word for word. He didn't say it's like, this is what I said, by the way, in shambles in Istanbul. He didn't say it's like Sunday League football, because it isn't like Sunday League football. He actually said you don't see that in Sunday League football. And believe me, you do not see that in Sunday League football. All the defenders going up for a corner and being all the defenders in the box and leaving nobody on the halfway line. You do not see that in Sunday League football. I played for a while in goal, at centre-half, and the goalkeeper in the team was a certain Tony O'Neill. If all the defenders would have gone into the opposition's box on a corner, don't forget the ball's at the other end of the field. Your keeper can come 15, 20 yards outside his box. He'd be there, he'd be barking orders at you. Where are you all going? Get somebody back on this halfway line. You can't, all the defenders can't go up. One defender's got to stay on the halfway line. People have been criticising Matic. It's not Matic's fault. Matic is in his position on the edge of the penalty area. As Sammy McIlroy said, you do not see it in Sunday League football. And a Sunday League defender would have told somebody else to stay on the halfway line. One of the full-backs, Harry Maguire, should have told Shaw to be there, or he should have told Wan-Bissaka there. And I'm sorry, and I know it's his first game for us, second game for us, and he's Dean Henderson, second or third game. He's played in the League Cup, hasn't he? But Dean Henderson, he should really have been organising that. He should have been screaming at the top of his voice, "Where's everybody gone? Someone's got to be on the halfway line." So yeah, it wasn't like Sunday League football. It was worse than Sunday League football what happened there. So well said, Sammy McIlroy. My predicted team then for this weekend. If you've watched me video, Ricky's Dream Team. You'll see the team there that I'd love United to start with. I would absolutely love them to start with that team, and I do believe it's a strong team who would all keep the ball better and look after the ball better than some of the players that are playing pretty regularly. But obviously that's what I'd like to see. What I'm going to do now is what I think Ollie is going to go with this weekend. Obviously I probably won't get it bang on. I think it'll be pretty close. I think obviously De Gea, I think he'll come back in goal. I think Wan-Bissaka will play at right back and Shaw at left back. I think Luke Shaw's been playing well, by the way. Not many players can hold their head up from the game in Istanbul. Luke Shaw was still just about probably one of the better two players, perhaps. So I think Luke. There's a lot of talk about Telles. When's Telles going to be fit? I've not seen enough of Telles yet. But I think at the minute, I thought Luke Shaw was our best player against Arsenal, and I thought he was amongst the best 2 or 3 players in Istanbul. I really don't think it's fair, and I don't understand the clamour, because we've signed a new left back for him to come in the team. If he comes in the team, and I don't know if he is yet, I'm not seeing him yet. or hardly. He looked okay against PSG. You know, it's not a lot to go off one game, and he also had to come off. Whether he was tired or not, I don't know. But I think he played for about an hour in Paris, or maybe 70 minutes. But I don't think it'd be fair if he was fit for Luke Shaw to lose his place. It might be a slightly backward step, and I think at best it might be a sideways step. So I think the back four tomorrow will be obviously De Gea in goal. I think Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof and Shaw will be the back four. I think he's going to go roughly back to his tried and trusted team, that won 4 games on the bounce last season. The 4 games against Sheffield United, Villa, Bournemouth and Brighton, and he won 4 games on the bounce. He had the exact same lineup in that game, and that exact same lineup started a couple of games at the start of this season. I think the Spurs game, and I think the Brighton game, or more or less exactly. There might have been one change to it, but he had a set team that played those 4 games. There was no changes in those 4 games, and I think he's going to go more or less back to that. In those games, he played with 1 holding midfield player, which I think I'm right in saying was McTominay. No, it wasn't. It was Matic. It was Matic in those games. And then we had Bruno and we had Pogba making up the midfield, and we had Greenwood, Marshall and Rashford up top. What he has done more recently, it has dawned on him, I think it's dawned on him, but he went backwards at weekend, the other night in Turkey. It has dawned on him that he needs to have 2, what I call proper midfield players who take the defensive responsibilities as equally important as their attacking responsibilities, if not more so. So since the international break, after we'd got beaten so heavily by Spurs just before the international break, he was playing with McTominay and Fred. And then against McTominay and Fred played virtually every game since the international break. Against Leipzig, Matic got a game, but Fred was still in the team, so it was Matic and Fred against Leipzig. And then all of a sudden, in Turkey, he's played with only 1. Those 3 players, I'll say it till the cows come home. Matic, McTominay and Fred. 2 of those 3 players need to play. We've got to have at least 2 players who take the defensive responsibilities seriously. 2 of those 3 players have got to play. Now, the last time we played with only 1 of those 3 players was against Spurs when we got beat 6-1. And then the next time that we played with only 1 of those 3 players was in Turkey the other night when we got beat 2-1 by a team that shouldn't really be beating us. And in all the games in between, I think there's 5 games in between, he's used 2 of those 3 players. And as he said himself, even Chelsea and Arsenal, he wasn't too despondent with those games. So why he's done that, I don't know. And again, this isn't the Defend Nemanja Matic show, but I feel sorry for Nemanja Matic. The last time we played with only 1 against 1 of the 3, it was against Spurs. And the next time we played with only 1 of the 3, it was against Besiktas here the other night. So twice, Matic has played that role alone. Whereas in all the other games, when there's been 2 players playing a similar role, McTominay and Fred, and you need 2 players playing that role. So for me, I would go. My choice would be McTominay and Matic, but I think he's going to go with McTominay and Fred. I do think he'll keep, which is the one that will be one tweak from his favourite lineup from last year, because I think he's realised he needs 2 of them. So I think McTominay and Fred will play, and I think Bruno will play. I think it'll be Bruno, McTominay and Fred as a 3-man midfield, with Bruno having licence to push forward. So I think Pogba will miss out again. And then up front, I think he'll go with his favourite 3, Greenwood, Marshall and Rashford. If he does, I think it's silly. I really do. I don't think Greenwood's getting involved in the game enough. I've noticed the England squad, for example. I know that Greenwood and Foden were left out of the squad after the misdemeanour over in Iceland, but Foden's back in the England squad. Greenwood isn't. You know, and I'm pretty certain that's only because it might be through lack of game time, but I don't think Foden starts in City's team all the time. You know, so why is Greenwood not back in the England squad? It doesn't surprise me that he's not in the England squad. When I watch him play for United, I wouldn't have him in the United team, so why should he be in the England squad? So that doesn't surprise me. So I think that's what he'll go with, though. So just to recap, I think he'll go with De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof and Shaw. I think he'll go with Bruno, McTominay and Fred in the middle. And I think he'll go with Greenwood, Martial and Rashford up front. Obviously, on any given day, a good chance might come to Greenwood and he might smash one in from 25 yards. It can happen. Obviously, on any given day, Marcus Rashford might come up with a brilliant goal like he did at Brighton, like he did at Crystal Palace last season. Obviously, he came on as a sub the other week and got an hat-trick in 15 or 16 minutes. But these things might not happen. And if you're waiting and relying on just these little flashes of brilliance from players, I prefer players who are more consistently good, and the team has got more chance of playing well, and the team has got more. There's no I in team. The team has got more chance of getting more chances if you've got better players in the team who look after the ball better and pass it better and make quicker split-second decisions. So if he goes with that team, the team that I think he'll go with, which includes Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, Bruno, McTominay and Fred, if he goes with that team, I think we'll do well to get a point. We might just get a point. I'll be surprised if we win. If he goes with the exact team that he used last season in the 4 wins that they had, i.e. if Pogba's playing instead of Fred, so then it'd be Bruno, McTominay and Pogba in midfield, and then Greenwood, Martial and Rashford up front. If that's the lineup that he goes with, my prediction is that they will get beat. So I've made predictions. I wanted to say something about why I don't normally make predictions, and the reason that I don't like making predictions, as I just said, I've had to predict what the team might be. In this day and age, you don't know what the lineup's going to be from one week to the next. I can catch my mind back to when I was a child. Like I can name United's team from when they won the European Cup in 1968. Stepney, Brennan, Dunk, Adam Folk, Styles, Best Kid, Charlton, Sadler, Aston. Dennis Law was injured. If Dennis Law had been fit, he would have played. But with Dennis Law being injured and clearly not going to be fit to play, he was having a cartilage operation, which was a bigger thing in those days than it is today. You knew what the team was, so you had a chance of predicting. This day and age, people say to me the day before the game, you know, I think United will go on tomorrow. I always say, well, I'll have to wait until an hour before kick-off because you don't know from one week to the next what the team's going to be. I mean, back in those days, you even knew the lineups of other teams, particularly the big teams. You know, one of our biggest rivals, late 60s, early 70s, Leeds United. If we were playing Leeds United on Saturday, I'll be able to tell you what their team will be. It'll be Sprake, Reaney, Cooper, Brendan, Charlton, Hunter, Laurie McClark, Jones, Giles, Gray. So you know what you're up against, and you also know what your team's going to be. This day and age, it doesn't work like that. There's too many changes. Getting back to what we were talking about, what Andy asked Ollie, there's no consistency. You need to get consistency. Get consistency in your team selection, and you've got a chance of getting consistency on the field. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed it, oh, by the way, no matter what team he picks, I hope they win. I do hope they win, no matter what team he picks. I just can't see it if he picks that particular team. So if you've enjoyed the video, please tell all your friends. Please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video, keep stum, don't tell anyone.